I want to talk about the problem with my high school specifically. I had both my little sisters are having a concert, like an orchestra concert at high school, like a Christmas one. And so I got to see the school again. And my dad, while we were waiting for the show to start, asked me if you could change about one thing about, your high school. What would you change? Thinking back, there's a lot of memories of me thinking about wishing I did something differently. But it was an interesting question to see, what about the school was something I wanted to change. And so you see, I eventually told him, I wish there were fewer Indians. And he was confused. Like, aren't there like a lot of whites? And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I said it was around 50-50, right? And he said, well, that's fine then, right? That's fine. But then I said, no, you don't understand. It's this place. It's an American town in Texas. And I didn't get the chance to explain it to him, but I can explain it here. There's a lot of problems that spawn from the fact that as an Indian, you were supposed to be a minority, an ethnic or whatever. But there's an identity confusion that comes along the fact when the world tells you that you're an ethnic, you're a minority. You go to the school and then there's so many people like you who are also experiencing the same kind of like, I'm supposed to be a minority but everyone else is Indian. And so just imagine the sort of schools where, if you go to the Midwest or something, like say Illinois, there'd be one or two Indian kids, and then they would have those kind of parents, overbearing parents that would force them to study, and then they would be positively enforced by the fact that the belief that they are, smarts, quote unquote smart, and because they'd be high achieving, because people around them, it's there'll be smart white people, there'll be like average white people, there'll be dumb, and then because of the fact that who they are, they study how they study, they do pretty well. And they grow up in life thinking, okay, yeah, I'm like, I am who I am, and I know who I am, and I'm a minor, I'm a minority, I'm from a minority group, and people might not like like I might not be, I'll be this much attractiveness, probably like on the lower end of attractiveness, but whatever is whatever. When you are an Indian in a school where half the other people are like also Indian, there's just think about the academic, like, competitive side, right? You're competing at a fairly high level, but then so are all the other 50% of Indians, and then you reach the conclusion that, like, wait a minute, so like stereotypically I'm supposed to be smart, but I'm performing average. What is happening here? Not only in just the academic side, but like just in a societal level, like what comes to mind is like the way girls behave. And especially for girls, right? Indian girls, there's such a pressure from their parents to do well career-wise in this world, like this modern world, right? And so many girls will go out saying that, they want to be doctors, or they want to do like exceedingly well in STEM. I mean, this is of course an issue that we find with a lot of girls, but the culture is different. The culture is different when you talk about Indians. The expectations for just Asians in general is very, very high, and when they have to grapple with the fact that they are performing average, like they're supposed to go to the highest university, like they have this high expectations placed on them. You're supposed to do exceedingly well, get your medical degree, whatever. It's the most common thing brown girls want to study. Not too sure, but it's difficult, that expectation, and being hit with the academic fact that in a school such as the one I went to, you are actually in fact not even that special, but then you're supposed to be, but you're not. There's a contrast between real life and what you're expected to be, and that causes so much like tension, unsaid tension, unseen tension, that has some pretty remarkable, I don't know, like in social groups. Will an Indian girl be able to go up to a group of white girls like and converse as easily? I would say it's easier for that to happen in a school where Indians are actually in minority. That would make a lot of sense because then it's like, okay, who else is she gonna make friends with? But in a school where there's 50% Indians and 50% whites, why should the Indian girl who's not on the basketball team, who's not on the cheerleading team, just trying to study and get good grades, why would she approach these white girl friends when she has so many other options from the orchestra club to make friends with who are just like her? And no, this spawns an invisible divide, like there's this unseen wall of you're a minority. Like, this is looking from the white people's perspective. You're a minority, and yet there are so many of you. And just whatever treatment that happens, like, it just trickles down into so many other ways that people behave, like the way the teachers interact with the students. There's not a single Indian teacher, not even an Indian substitute teacher. Forget the difference between male teachers, female teachers. It's this understanding that you're supposed to be a minority, and yet here you are taking up half the school. And how do the teachers grapple with that? How do the students grapple with that? How does like the face of all media where there's only like one Indian kid in the friend group? It's like it has unthought of consequences. And so the reason why I said that I wish that my high school, had fewer Indians. Some of you might think, oh, you hate your kind. No. An Indian student would, especially a high school student, would be able to understand, and there's no cognitive dissonance between who I am and who the world tells me I am. And I feel like relationships, not romantic, like interclassmate relationships, would be understood by everyone around, would just be accepted so much more easier. And listen, and about the academic thing, if an Indian was told that he's not doing well, I mean, like, not told, but he in fact is not doing well, but there are not other Indians around. Like, I think an Indian would be able to accept that because it is easier to take that it's your fault. But when there's other Indians around, it's easy to see, all the top 10 placements at the school are all Asian. Well, not all, there'll be white people there too. But the upper middle class of like academically scoring students would feel so robbed because it's so intense. We're like the top 50 students. It's so intense for that competition because there's so many kids at that level. Like at a school where it's like a 50-50 split between white and like Indian, right? Like the bell curve's not at like whatever, it's like 2.75 GPA. It's like everyone is gonna be at like that 3.8, 3.7, 3.6, 3.5 GPA, and then very few people at like in the 2s or even like 3.1. It's so tight at that level, and now all that stress that mounts up from academic expectations, friend group expectations, it's not coming to me now, but like this dissonance, it just affects the way the chemistry of social groups and conversations and relationships are formed. It's different, so that's what I think. That's my problem with my high school specifically. A little update on videos and life. I have exams. I actually have to study for an exam right now. I also have to write an essay right now. So I've been busy. But I'll be back. Don't worry. I'm not leaving YouTube or anything like that. I'll see you. Bye.